Chapter 4. Why me, Lord? 14 damn days. And that motherfucker ain't called. Ashanti sits by the window with her eyes swollen from crying. Her hair is a mess, and she hasn't put makeup on in days. Where is my man? Is the only thought in her mind. She rules out calling the police because P-Funk is on the run from his hometown. She doesn't want to file a missing persons report because he and Iran may be dirty wherever they are. Damn, this is killing me, she thinks. I need to pull myself together. If Killer and the girls had not been with her these past few days, Ashanti more than likely would have done something foolish to herself. Killer has been preparing her soup. He must have prepared the entire Campbell selection by now. Michelle, Cedra, and Tyra take turns forcing her to bathe, but they can't motivate her to go to the beauty salon, something which she usually treasures more than life. Killer is keeping an eye on the spot when he is not in school. He's not sure who the guy is that Iran left in charge, but the dude allows him to come and go as he pleases. Killer supplies the girls with enough weed to get their smoke on, but not enough to make them lazy. They have to be strong and in control until P-Funk returns. If he returns. In the back of his mind, he's praying that nothing has happened to his boy. They've become the best of friends. He takes care of everything. And despite all this, Ashanti still can't bring herself to smile. The only thing that brings her any resolve is smoking a blunt and drinking a martini. Michelle decides to hustle weed in the evenings, just in case Paul doesn't return. She works through the night. Her morning routine is always the same. She comes in and recounts her money, stashes it, takes off her clothes, takes a shower, writes in her journal, grabs a raisin bagel with a cup of apple juice followed by a joint to relax her mind. With the sun still rising, this morning will be no different, or so she thinks. Michelle sits by the upstairs window, blowing like a chimney. While she's putting the neatly rolled joint out, she looks downstairs. She spots a candy red '06 C320 Benz pull up with 22-inch Moyo rims blasting Jay-Z's Change Clothes, which definitely gets her attention. She stares out the window and notices a tall guy getting out, dressed in an Adolfo linen suit with brown Louis Vuitton shoes on, looking up. Damn, he looks very familiar, she thinks. The weed must have dampened her awareness because it takes her a couple of seconds to recognize that it's P-Funk that she's looking at. P-Funk's home! P-Funk's home! She yells while running down the stairs to the front door. Everyone is awakened by Michelle's yelling, and they all jump up, wondering what the hell is she yelling about. Ashanti is deep in her dream, where P-Funk had been banging her on the lakefront. He was hitting her hard from the back and was just about to. She is awakened by Michelle's yelling. She asks herself, did she just hear what she thinks she heard? She jumps out of bed wearing only P-Funk's jersey. She runs past everyone else and is the first to greet her man. All the pain and sorrow she felt the last 2 weeks disappears. Just hours ago, she had hated his guts for not contacting her. Now she loves his dirty draws. Once inside, P-Funk has to explain to everyone about Iran's sick uncle in Bermuda. How he hated being stuck down there with no phone, no television, etc. The only good thing that came from the trip was that they came across a big shipment of weed. As he tells the story, his mind reflects to the words sung by rapper Jadakiss. I'll need the scales that they use to weigh the whales with. After a few minutes of talking with everyone and catching up on what's been happening, he wants to get with the one he missed, his boo. Although he fucked enough during his trip, something about being around Ashanti makes him horny. While everyone is still in the living room, he picks Ashanti up and places her on his shoulder. Girl, put some panties on that ass, says Cedra, jealous that P-Funk is about to bust Ashanti's jelly donut. Oh, how she wishes it was her. But she's glad it's her girl. P-Funk brought back some ex with him. and knowing what he would do first when he got home. He popped two before exiting the Benz. Knowing what is about to happen, Michelle, Cedra, and Tyra want to join P-Funk and Ashanti, but they settle for their toys. They each have their personal vibrator. These were a gift from Killa, intended as a joke on his part, but a true stress reliever for the girls. They've nicknamed their instruments of pleasure. Tyra's Robo, Michelle's Blackie, but Cedra went the extra mile. She had P-Funk engraved on her vibrator in gold plating. In the other room, P-Funk is banging Ashanti's lights out. She's never been freaked like that, never. She's so weak from those thunderous orgasms that she went right to sleep. The X-Pills still have P-Funk wide open, and he wants more sex. He decides to take a quick spin in the Benz, hoping that the ride will help him settle down. He tiptoes out the house, and as he disarms the alarm system, Cedar jumps into the passenger seat. They end up at the Rochambeau, where you pay by the hour. He figures they will only need 1 hour, as he doesn't want Ashanti to notice they're both gone. P-Funk hands the cashier a $20 bill for the hour, as he thinks to himself, I'd pay at least $100 to get this coochie, especially after that X. All the way to the motel, Cedra gave P-Funk head and rubbed her clit, while he watched her and the road. By the time they got into the mix, coochie juice was all down her inner thighs. P-Funk didn't waste any time. He went straight to work. He knew what they were doing was wrong, but what Ashanti don't know won't hurt her, and they both could keep a secret. He freaked Cedra for 40 minutes, keeping one eye on the clock and making sure Cedra felt every inch of his wood inside her. Between her moans and groans, he buzzed. He isn't sure if the X wore off or if he came because he knew time was of the essence. Either way, it didn't matter. It felt good. Cedra is already in love with him, but after the dick down he just put on her, she's dick whipped. They arrive back at the condo, walking in with coffee, donuts, and juice. In the back of her mind, Cedra wants to make this run to Krispy Kreme on the regular. And as she reflects on what just happened at the motel, she feels an aftershock of cum oozing to her panties. P-Funk goes into his bedroom and just flops on the bed exhausted. Ashanti rolls over and they hug. Sleep in the morning away. What was left of it anyway. Iran had gone straight to work after leaving the port. He had arranged for P-Funk's new car to be waiting when they pulled in on the Scandinavian. After making sure his protege was all set, Iran sets up the delivery of the ton of Bermuda green. He often stores weed at the shop, but a shipment this large, he'll keep at the abandoned house on Elizardi. When he arrives, his two longtime buddies are there, ready to unload. These were the same two older men P-Funk noticed a few weeks back. They are Iran's watchdogs. Although their appearances make them seem like they are homeless, fact is, they are well-trained assassins, perfectly disguised and highly dependable. It takes them most of the afternoon to put up and inventory everything. Iran likes the way Dago and Jeff handle things. Over the years, they have proven to be proficient. When all is done, he gives them $5,000. As usual, they just nod their heads. We'll call you if anything happens, is all they say before leaving. Iran leaves right behind them and calls P-Funk once inside the QX56. What's up, man? Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm done working for the day, and that'll give me time to rest. Peace. While Killa's coming through the door, P-Funk is hanging up the phone with Iran. They hug like they haven't seen each other in years. After a few minutes of catching up, Killa surprises him and the girls, telling them to go get dressed. They are all going over to City Park. Killa tells them about his cousin, Too Bad. He has a group that will be performing, and they will all have a blast. Yo, we got VIP passes and a private booth to ourselves. It's going to be jamming. Everybody and their mama going to be there. P-Funk agrees with the idea and also lets everyone know that Irene will be coming through later on to watch the Source Awards. They all enjoy the jam at City Park. Two-Pad's group, the Uptown Superstars, man, they rock the stage. Lieutenant Ugly, Cock Diesel, Boss Hogg, and Mr. Marv are the headliners. The Cash Money Millionaires sponsor the entire concert. The money is to benefit the victims of Katrina. As the buckets are passed, Ashanti watches P-Funk drop in a gram. She's proud of her man. The concert ends just in time. When P-Funk and Ashanti get inside the C320, it starts pouring down rain. P-Funk looks in his rearview mirror and sees Killer in the Continental. He has Michelle and Cedra in the front with him, and Tyra and some other chick in the back. This is a good day, and another to stash for the morrow. They drive off, heading back to the condo. But first, P-Funk goes to get some X. While P-Funk was gone, the girls hired a maid service. The surprised look on his face when he noticed how clean the condo was all the satisfaction they needed. They knew they did a smart thing. We're going to freshen up before Irene arrives, P-Funk says while pulling Ashanti by her hand. The others just giggle, knowing they're just going to get their freak on. Again. They manage to enter the living room just as the Source Awards are coming on. P-Funk is glad he went with the 52-inch plasma screen by Marantz. Muhammad convinced him it's top of the line, and seeing the picture, he's glad he listened. Although it's still raining cats and dogs, they all sit in the condo, passing blunts, sipping Alizé, and of course, Ashanti has her banana martini. As the night wears on, P-Funk keeps checking his Breitling, noticing that he hasn't heard from Iran. Eventually, the awards go off and still no word from Iran. Before going to bed, P-Funk dials the only 3 numbers he has for Iran. No answer. He and Ashanti decide to just hold each other and cuddle tonight. They've been freaking like rabbits since he got back. However, he is glad she changed her mind as she drifts off to sleep with her warm, moist lips pulling up and down on his jaw. Good night. The next morning, all the girls head to the beauty salon, Candy Salon. They know they'll get their money and a generous tip from these young hussies. The weekly trips over to Broad Street have to be at least $250 worth of hairdos. P-Funk is glad no one's there. He relaxes even more when he realizes that Cedra hasn't hung around for some wood. After getting a glass of orange juice, he heads back to bed, falling asleep within 5 minutes. The girls pull up in front of Candy's and P-Funk's Benz. All eyes are them as they enter the shop. As usual, Michelle is the loudest and the first to speak. "What's up, y'all? Let's get this shit rolling. Daddy's home." Cedra grabs the newspaper. Her routine is to read the living section, just to check her horoscope. She really thinks she's fooling folks, but everyone knows she isn't really reading the paper. While she thumbs through looking for her horoscope, her mind keeps drifting to P-Funk. Damn. She knows better than that shit. Although she is aware that Ashanti cheated on P-Funk at least once, it didn't justify the fact that she was fucking her best friend's man. Stay close to your loved ones. Times may become extremely rough in the near future. She read her horoscope to the entire salon. Man, this is a cute SUV that smashed into the divider last night, Cedra says while handing the paper to Ashanti. Ashanti is about to go under the dryer, but at the sight of the SUV, she knows it's Iran's. Damn! She gets out of the chair and runs to the telephone, tripping over some customers. "What's wrong with that bitch?" asks one of the chicks waiting to get her weave fixed. Ashanti calls the shop, thinking that P-Funk went to work. An unfamiliar voice answers the phone, telling her P-Funk hasn't come in yet. She calls the house, not realizing that P-Funk has turned off all the ringers to get some rest. "Julie, I gotta go. I'll come back later to finish." With tears running down her face, she turns to her girls. "That's Iran's SUV in the paper." She runs out to the bins. P-Funk thinks he's dreaming when he hears his name being yelled. "Pa! Pa! Pa!" After several screams, he realizes that it's Ashanti and he isn't. dreaming. She runs into the bedroom and just hands him the newspaper. When P Funk looks up, they both have tears in their eyes. The article says the driver died upon impact. Marrero's outstanding citizen, Mr. Gregory Cooks, also called Iran, operated the corner store for years and was well loved, well respected, and will be sadly missed by the community. All the lecturing he received from Iran started playing in his mind. He doesn't have time to feel sorry about losing two fathers. He has work to do. He dries tears from his eyes, tells Ashanti to take her own car, and finish up at the salon. I got some things that need to be handled, is all he says before grabbing his keys and walking out the door. P Funk goes by the shop, picks up the money, and heads towards the abandoned house on Elizardi. He is greeted by Dago and Jeff, who have seen the paper as well. They tell him that Iran has told them all about him. They have been expecting him. They split the weed in half, and they help transport it to the condo. Later that evening, P Funk tells Ashanti, "Yo, me and Killer are going to handle some business in the quarters. I'll be back later." He kisses her on her cheek before leaving. Ashanti has a premonition. She gets a strange feeling of loss. Something is wrong, but she refuses to worry. P Funk and Killer drop off weed at several spots, setting up their soon-to-be empire. They know with Iran gone, they can control the flow. After passing through the daiquiri shop on Crowder, they have one more stop to make. They need to drop the last couple of pounds by Crazy Joe's cousin, Javinda. P Funk met Javinda at Two Bad's concert in City Park. She was hustling weed there, and he decided to help her out. Javinda was a looker, but she was a tomboy. Baggy jeans, jerseys, and never without a gun. At only 18, she knew the streets, like the mayor knew the city. Heading towards the Claiborne Bridge, they both jump as sirens blare behind them. "Fuck that," P Funk yells as he hits the accelerator. They weave in and out of lanes. All they need to do is lose the cops before getting to the bridge. More cops join in the chase. Thoughts of Killer's graduation are running through P Funk's mind. They finally get to the bridge, but the police are closing in. P Funk throws the weed out the passenger's window. "Lean back, fool. You don't need any of this weed on your clothes." When they reach the top of the bridge, there's a massive roadblock waiting for them. "Give me your pistol." P Funk looks Killer in the eyes. "Give me your pistol." "This isn't a statement, it's an order." P Funk realizes it's too late to throw the gun out, but he isn't going to let Killer go down. Killer has so much going for himself, and P Funk doesn't want this to ruin him, like the fate he's suffering daily. When they come to a stop, the police have their weapons drawn. "Come out with your hands up." "My people are going to be upset with me," Killer says, almost in tears. P Funk pats him on the shoulder. "Don't worry, kid. I got this." He puts the gun in his waistband and steps out of the car. The cops rush them and slam them both to the ground. They are especially rough with P Funk when they find out he has a gun on him. After being fingerprinted and booked, P Funk is held without bond. They find out he is actually Paul Ford, a fugitive from the state of New York, wanted in connection with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Killer, aka Kevin Murray, is released with a warning to watch the company he keeps. P Funk is being held in the isolation wing at Jefferson Parish because he is a high security risk. Ashanti and the girls come to visit him on a regular basis. Today he doesn't know who's visiting him, but he was told to be ready in 5 minutes. "Paul Ford, get ready for visitation, last chance," an officer shouts over the intercom through the wing. "Last chance? Bitch just told me 5 minutes ago," he thinks. "It's probably some feds trying to get me to join Team USA about this gun charge. Right shit, but the wrong guy. I'm a soldier." Walking into the visiting section, he can't believe his eyes. Sitting there is Coach Neely and Brenda, all the way from New York. "What brings you two down here?" P Funk asks. "Well, we got some good news and some bad news. Which do you want to hear first?" Coach Neely asks. "Well, give me the good first. I hope it's about my folks." Coach starts. "The good news is that the police found out who murdered your parents." Brenda cuts in. I was trying to warn y'all, Paul, but it was too late. I'm sorry. Sorry? Warn? The fuck is you talking about, bitch? P-Funk roars. Coach Neely interjects. Quiet down, son. Just hear what she has to say. Brenda continues. It was my boyfriend, Fitty, and his crew. His cousin Tasha goes to our school. She went back and told them everything. She saw us in the stairwell. You mean to tell me my peoples died over some pussy? I can't believe this shit, P-Funk sadly stated. You know how jealous those West Indians are about women, Brenda adds. Give him the rest of it, Coach Neely says. No, that's it. That's all of it, Brenda said. Coach Neely is wondering why Brenda decided not to tell Paul she has the 4,000 for ruining his Michael Jordan throwback. The other thing is that with these new charges, your scholarships are being withdrawn, Coach Neely said, unanimated. Fuck basketball and New York, P-Funk said. Well, if it's any consolation, Fitty got 40 years and I got fired for messing with Cheryl that day. Dago and Jeff hired Iran's old attorney, Mr. Finesse, to handle P-Funk's legal woes. However, he is still held without bond until his court date. Mr. Finesse was given $60,000 and told that 40,000 more would follow if he could get P-Funk out. That's what I do. The name speaks for itself, he told Ashanti after she popped down on his office unexpectedly. Mr. Finesse has been to see P-Funk 2 times, and each time he has assured of probation at the least. However, despite what his attorney and the inmates are saying, Judge Rockass is not having it. He sentences Paul to 4 years at LTI Detention Center. He says it is because of the high-speed chase and not so much as the gun. We all know different. It has to be more.